Hello, henchman. I'm Smiley,
And I am Evan the Great. We are from the Villain's Demand.
and we would like for you to turn to page 302 of your monster manuals now,
That's
as
right,
we
henchman.
discuss the red-eyed cloud of fuck you.
As your adventuring party has got word of an ancient relic deep in the tombs underground, a couple miles south of the village that you have met, you go there. You creep into this tomb. You walk down the stairs. You see slight torches that are not lit. As you light them, some of your party members notice the shadows in here. They move differently. Especially as you light the lights, the shadow kind of runs away from your body, which is uneasy. So as your nerves are high, and you do not know what you are doing as you are getting into a tomb you've never seen before, taking as much time and practice as possible. One of your adventurers, there's 4 or 5 of you, probably 5, are traveling along this hallway. One of the adventurers is looking upon the ground. He has two glowing eyes almost, walking with him as he's walking step by step. As he holds his hand up and the party goes to stop, he reaches down as the eyes dart away. The guy in the front screams in pain and holds his chest as he falls to the ground. As the party turns, they see these 2 eyes standing up above the ground, and they hear a vile, almost like a laughter of evil sound as the guy moans and he falls to the ground and his blood hits the floor, and then from his body rises a ghost itself. Today, we're going to talk about the Wraith. What do you got for us, Smiley?
Well, wraiths are unholy abominations caused by debased pacts and vilely lived lives when a soul itself collapses in to become that which is the exact opposite of a soul. An undead spectral form of generally killing stuff.
Yep.
They used to be a bit more complicated in past editions. In 5e, they got a bit streamlined and simplified down. In my own opinion, wraiths require 2 things to work appropriately. One of which is mechanical.
Yep.
Every time I use a wraith or a specter, or most types of undead, to be honest, I give them life sensing. And basically, if it's within their field of vision, they can sense life.
They should be able to, especially if they're underground away from light.
Or if like wraiths can move through solid objects.
They
Well,
can.
how do they know where they're going? Either their head's sticking out the whole damn time, which would be comical, which a wraith should never be comical, unless you roll that way. Or they can just sense life around them, in general. The other thing is, you have to build up a wraith. A wraith is a story begging to be told. In our session today for Out of the Abyss, I did Bryces of Cain, the Lost Tomb of Cain, and I rewrote the whole thing. And I want to give emphasis and background and story to Bryces itself.
Now Wraith, not only are they're pretty evil.
They are one of the most evil creatures.
They kill their prey. They live deep in tombs and underground, things where the sun cannot get to.
They are sensitive to sunlight.
There you go.
If you have, it's better to either fight them either on the surface or with the sunblade.
Correct.
They are not weak to radiant energy, however. It's just that sunlight weakens them, and specifically sunlight, not just bright light. Sunlight drains them with their strength.
It does. Ways that they could also you could use a wraith would be they could take people's shadows.
I like doing that because I think that's the creepiest thing ever. Just knowing that the entire time you've been in this building, you are being followed by a wraith. Especially it's like, hey man, I need you to make me Constitution save. Oh, why? Oh, you just took 11 necrotic damage.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Or you can have a scene where maybe they find a pool of water underground and they're looking at their reflection and then their eyes turn red.
That will be an awesome introduction for a wraith, actually.
Yeah.
Wraiths have the ability to make specters out of the violently slain, as long as it's within a minute. So, and they're seen as undead commanders. The specters should be around a wraith somewhere.
Yes.
Not necessarily paired with the wraith, but just around the wraith somewhere. Just for good measure and thematicism. When a party member drops, turn it to a fucking specter immediately.
So as the party is combat neath, what kind of things would happen? Like because the wraith can move through walls, solid objects in them, and so can the specters, correct? So that is a very creepy fight, and you don't really see what you're fighting.
It depends. It really does depend. I would say for the DMs out there, don't be an asshole about a wraith. Don't have it just bobbing in and out of the wall the whole fight. Have it attack, then move out.
Yeah.
And then when it's starting to move back in and attack again, and then leave it in for that round. Because no one likes waiting. What are you going to do? There's nothing I can do. Already an attack for when it appears. But you're using a sword and it appears on the other side of the room.
And they can
no one likes wasting their time.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
And a wraith can go into a creature, correct?
Yes.
So
they can pass through them. They can't possess them.
Okay, I was thinking not really pass through them, but like stop in them and it makes the creature's eyes look like they're red.
I would do that.
That'd be insane.
Just to mess with people.
Especially if
they are a very intelligent undead. They're able to speak. That should be used. Just using their voice to mess with them in general is one of the best gifts a monster could give you.
Oh yeah. Man, this is crazy. They have a lot of different things. Do they have any weaknesses besides sun?
They do not. Their only weakness that they have sunlight sensitivity.
And if you're combating one of these,
well, they also have low armor. They only have a 13 AC.
But they do have
resistance to literally almost everything. They are not resistant to psychic, radiant, and force.
Which, those might. Radiant is kind of.
They are immune to necrotic and poison.
Yeah, so
they are immune to the charmed, exhausted, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, and restrained conditions.
That is a lot of. They're hard to take down.
They are a CR5, and I like to treat them like the big bad at lower levels, especially if I'm doing like on the cuff all homebrew campaign. I love using Wraiths as that lower entry tier for the higher levels. As like this is the big bad that you have to fight before you move on to bigger, better things.
Yeah.
Because when I won't just do it as just the Wraith, I'll add things to it. Like in Tomb of Kim, I had a Will-O-Wisp just because. Well, to be honest, originally it was a Banshee, and that combo was evil.
Yeah.
And I changed it. I went back to what was originally in Tomb of King, which was the Wraith.
So, Wraith, I got a question for you,
Yes.
DM. He DMs All Star Games. Him and JBD. I know where a Spectre comes from. Where does a Wraith come from?
Well, I mentioned that. It's when a creature that has entered a pact with a vile entity, or is specifically consigned to lower planes, or has lived a debased and profane life, dies. Okay. Sometimes their soul is so grounded on the material plane or so wicked that instead of traveling to the lower planes, its soul will collapse. And that void and vacuum of what was a soul becomes the Wraith.
That is pretty evil. And
they have a shred of fragmentation of their former self's mind. They are, like it mentions in the book, like, play around with, like, it may have memories. Like, when you try to open the tomb, it immediately went for you. Or, like, when you try to open the sarcophagus, get out, daybreak, it immediately ran for you.
Yeah, because it knew of the weapon that could basically harm it was inside there.
No, it was because it was its weapon.
Or its weapon.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't learn something. Anything else we haven't hit on yet?
That about covers. They're not overly complex. That's the thing I like about the Wraith. They're a simple creature you can do a lot with. Because they're not complex, they're malleable, which means you can change them and do whatever you want to with them. If you want to have like a Wraith that died from freezing to death, you can give it like code powers or something, or add some code damage to its normal stuff. You can play around with them a lot.
And one thing I want to hit on is one of their abilities. Usually we don't talk too much into abilities, but they have an ability when they hit you with life drain, your
Yes.
total hit points drop.
Only if you fail Constitution save.
Yeah, or if you fail Constitution save. So there's a chance that this thing could really mess you up if it hits you a couple times.
Yes, because they have actually for the level you fight them at, they have really high average damage, like about 22. I see it.
Is it 46?
Yeah, 48.
48,
Plus
yeah.
3.
That's nuts.
It is, and it's the thing where it just has to touch you.
So most times your party is going to be combating one of these. Your main tanky character might have what 35 to 50 hit points. So
No, I'd say about 50-ish.
yeah,
like
I got 59.
50 to 60.
And I would call myself the tank logger, but yeah, we fought
Yeah,
one
but
of
you're
these.
also running D8s, aren't you? You're running D10s.
D10s at the time, but yeah. So if it hits
That's
you,
right.
still or even 50 hit points. If it hits you twice and hits me for that much damage, I have like a total of 16 hit points at the end of
I
that.
will say that if you are running a total with a Bear Barbarian, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
They're fine against everything but psychic damage because they're like words that should not be said to children.
but anyway, they're vile, they're evil, and
They are wicked, they are cruel, they hate life, they wish to destroy and debase life.
so how can we use that to in a setting?
How can you not? You could have it where like just the town is being slowly whittling down to a ghost town because people are fleeing the slow incursion of the spiritual undead, shadows and specters and will-o-wisps that are starting to overrun out from the cemetery grounds because a wraith has taken residence there. That was once a vile cultist that was overthrown by local heroes not too long ago. There is a lot you can do with a wraith. Wraiths are beautiful in that regard.
So if my party was to encounter a place of a wraith, how would you describe that theme?
I would talk much like the shadows seem to move on their own, how it's quiet, beyond quiet, because there will be no animals, no birds, not even insects can really
I think they run away. I think they run away from
any sign of life will flee from a wraith because they are the literal absence of life.
Man, that in itself terrifying.
You want to do a bit of a creeping crawl on the players, especially if you want to do like a horror theme thing. You really have to play up like the eerie factor. Leave descriptions vague. That's my biggest tip for that. Leave descriptions vague.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't say what the shapes the shadows were taking in our game. I just said the shadows seem to move on their own.
Yeah.
And you immediately went, they're people. But, yeah. Anything you will say about the Wraith?
Not really. They're, like we say in all of our monster videos, your job is not to fight the characters, just to make them scared of you as well.
Leave an impression.
Yeah.
Bad.
It scared the hell out of one of our characters today.
Yeah. Remember that there is sunlight. There's sensitive to, not bright light.
And be smart. Use environment like we talk about all the time. Because when you use environment with a creature, especially if it's in its home turf, it's that much more entertaining, theater of the mind.
Yeah.
That's my last words.
Yeah. Well, I guess with that, you and your fellows are stalking down the corridors of the tomb, the sarcophagi, still open from the last incursion of the undead. You still have the images of the specters burned into your memory, their ghastly visages screaming out for mercy as they try to slay you. You stalk forward. You know why you are here, the purpose of your coming. You must amend another's mistake. The darkness begets a low moan as you continue. You enter the final resting place of the past sorceress, and the shadows collect and whirl in the tempest, with no wind to call of. 2 pinpricks of vile yellow light ignite, staring down, burying into your soul. Roll initiative.